Hello friends, check this thing out on the workbench. This is a Gretsch Dual Twin. You ever seen one of these? I certainly haven't. It is a 210 combo, diagonal. You see one speaker there, which is a pretty crazy configuration. I've never seen that before. And then this thing is just wild. Look at it. So this is from the 60s. I don't know much about it yet because I have never seen one like this. See, dual twin. And the model number, if I can get you in the light there, 6161. And yeah, basically very simple amplifier. It appears, 2 channels. You got your standard channel, your trem channel, 2 inputs per channel. And then this is for your foot switch and then the tremolo speed. Lovely vibey grill on this thing. Look at that. So cool, but check this out. Look at that Tolex. That is so cool. I can't get over it. The texture is amazing. So this has come in for, yeah, just a look over, and there's one major issue. Yeah, that's not going to work. So let's go ahead and flip it over and see what we got on the back. So let's see what we're dealing with here. Immediately, I mean, what is going on here? So I'm assuming there must have been, I don't know, was there a back plate here originally? Hard to tell. Looks like there's a couple holes right here, but I'm not sure that would explain having a plate across there. But yeah, you got everything exposed there. Looks like it's EL84s. 5Y3 rectifier. There's your can cap. Looks like 3 preamp tubes. And then check this out. Let's see if I can let you guys see this. Let me bump up the ISO here. Look at that. The pots are just right there. Out of the chassis. Crazy. All right, let's bump that back over. And then don't mind this. This is just a sticker from when it was in layaway in 2007, I guess. There's your big old transformer. I say big old. It's actually quite small. And then the speakers are behind this. So let's go ahead and take this back cover off and see what we're dealing with. Always love when you get all these spider webs in an amp. You know it's not been touched in a while. Lovely. All right, what are we working with? So, what are these speakers? Tiny little 10-inch speakers, obviously. Let's see the codes here on the bottom. I'll pop up the ISO for you guys. So it looks like we've got, let's say C10. Okay, now it's going to go out of focus for some reason. There we go, C10R. I'll have to look up these codes to confirm what they are and to date it, but yep, they look fairly old. Same on the top, but you won't be able to see it because of the lighting. Sorry about that. And wow, okay. First issue. That's not what you want to see. So this is a speaker wire, and it's obviously been very, very sketchily connected there. But it gets better. Look. By better, I mean worse. Wire nuts. Amazing. So, yeah. I'm fearful of what we're going to find inside here. I think this thing might be hacked on the inside. Somebody got a hold of it. Let's look at these tubes real quick. So I was wrong. Let's see what it says. We'll focus here. So 6973. I'm not familiar with that tube. That might be another name for an EL84, or it might be something totally different. Looks like an EL84, but I'll have to look that up. These look like they've seen better days. All right, let's go ahead and start taking the chassis out. Another way to know if an amp has been hacked are the chassis screws. These are definitely reamed out a bit. Here's a better look at the pots mounted to the back of the faceplate there, exposed. And then the other transformer there. Decided to remove the wire nuts out of curiosity, and yep, no solder. Just straight up wrapped as if it's wire in your garage or something. Crazy. So, and I don't know who would be working on an amp that doesn't know how to solder. That's kind of wild. So we'll see what we got. I am struggling a bit to remove the chassis. I have removed, let's see, quite a lot of screws. And I think I'm missing something. So I'm looking it over, remove those, remove these, remove that on both sides. So I don't see anything holding it in place, but and then if you can see there in the back, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Bump up the ISO again. In the back, there's that wood just in the corner that stops you from pulling the chassis back towards me. And so it's got to go out that way, but it does not want to for some reason. So I'll keep at it. And there's our little web maker right there. Wow, was that difficult. Holy cow. So the issue I had getting this out is this is all connected, right? So this whole front faceplate, if you can see that, is connected to the chassis there. And that was connected to this bottom kind of backer board, kind of like the Vox AC30s here, where the chassis is mounted on top of a slider board. And the slider board fit in that gap right there. So basically, it's a snug fit, but basically, so I can hold it by this broken ground wire to demonstrate. So it fit right there, right? So then, because the faceplate actually is connected, it goes to the very top of the chassis here. But to get this out, you have to lift it above this lip to slide the whole thing out because you got these blockers, so you can't pull it out backwards, right? So you have to lift this up enough to be able to slide it out with the slider board, which is not possible because the faceplate is too tall and it's already sitting up at the top right here, so you can't push it up any further, so you have to remove this. Well, to remove this, you have to get 4 screws on the bottom there off, and this ground connection, there's no way to desolder. I literally had to flip the cabinet upside down on my couch and finagle it from upside down because there was no way I could do it standing up. So that was a massive hassle, and obviously this was not not designed for easy service, but we got it out. Everything's fine. So let's go ahead and take a look at this chassis. Now, I see some pitting here and whatnot, but overall in fairly good condition. I am fairly certain of what year it is now. So if we go over here to the Mallory cap, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it or not. So hopefully you can see there 235 6631. I believe 66 means it is 1966, 31st week of 66, I believe. That's what that means. And then the transformer over here. Let me see if I can get in better lighting. Maybe I can lift it up. There we go. Transformer there. Hopefully you can see that. Looks like 5246625. So I think it's the 25th week of 1966. And it definitely looks original to the amplifier. So I'm feeling pretty confident. And then the speakers in there, the codes on that also seems to suggest 66. So overall, I think this is a 1966 Gretsch Dual Twin. Very cool. Now let's see what's waiting for us under the chassis here. So let's flip it over. I'll set the camera up on the tripod as I usually have it, and let's see what we were working with. One thing that I know is gonna be really hard about this amp is how am I gonna hold it, right? Because this doesn't come off. I mean, it does if I take off all of the front jacks and the front switch and undo the pots and have all that hanging out, but then you're just gonna have pots strung all around. So this is more convenient and easier to not have things get pulled unnecessarily, having it all together. So I'm really not sure how I'm gonna do it, but let's go ahead and just flip it over and I'll hold it for now and just kind of see what we're working with. Wow. Okay. This thing's crazy. Wow. I've never seen any build like this before. Now, I'm sure this is probably common with the Valco stuff, but I've never personally seen it. Wow. All of these. Wow, look at this. Terminal strips, everything on that. Look how the resistors are mounted. Crazy. Old carbon comps. Fascinating. Well, it doesn't look like it's been recapped or touched at first glance. Everything looks original. I don't see any replaced resistors either at first glance. So maybe it just got a 3-prong. And then this janky speaker wire added. Wow, this thing is crazy. Cool. All right, well, let me figure out a way to hold it, and then let's dive into it a bit more. All right, let's go ahead and look at this in a bit more detail. So we got the jacks here. These are the low and high inputs. And the high inputs are bizarre looking jacks. I've never seen any that look like that before. The low is a more standard looking jack. You can see there's the high input, there's the low input. Go into this giant terminal strip. And we've got a cap right here. This is looks like a 35 microfarad 50 volts. That's probably our bypass cap, cathode bypass cap running there. These wires coming out here is from the transformer. No, excuse me. I'm so used to seeing wires come out of the chassis like that as a transformer. No, those are from the pots. So this is, like I said, such a bizarre amp. So yeah, so there are the leads off of the pots here for the first channel. And then the ones over here are for just confirming the second channel there. So this is the trem channel. Yep, this is the trem channel. So here we're looking at that. Wow, this is crazy. So no other caps here than these little disc caps, some floating resistors there. And then we go over here, some more floating resistors. Got another cap down here. See if I can read what the value is. This one below the disc cap. So those 0.05 microfarad, 400 volt. So those are coupling caps, it seems. Man, this is crazy. Look at how these resistors are. Let me zoom in a little bit. I mean, it's kind of beautiful in its own way. It's chaotic, but the way they bend these resistors is so interesting. Wow, what a treat. I'm really excited by this, actually. Let's go ahead and move down a little bit. Here is the meat and potatoes of the amplifier. These are the two power tubes there. And the immediate thing that jumps out is this cap and this resistor. So this appears to be the bias circuit. So you've got a 250 ohm resistor here and a 35 microfarad 50 volt bias cap there. So that's interesting. And then just more caps here and resistors, lots of disc caps. This specific, what I'm guessing is going to be a coupling cap. It looks like it's been leaking a little bit. It's got some sludge on it. Everything else looks very, very clean in here. I mean, very clean. There's the Mallory filter cap, and that's definitely factory and something that we will likely be replacing, but I think we'll do discrete caps in here versus trying to do a can cap replacement, just because finding one that's going to fit, it's going to be difficult, and there's so much space. We could pretty easily fit in a new set of caps, whatever the values were. I don't remember what they were off the top of my head, but I think it was only 3. Yeah, it's only 3 here. So this is going to be ground right there. So that's no big deal. There's your socket for the rectifier. Nothing crazy there. All right, let's continue moving it down. Zoom out a little bit so you guys can see a bit more what's going on. So here's the faulty switch that's completely, oof. Wow, it's completely open on this side. I'll take a camera off and video this side here. You can't see right now, but yeah, definitely jacked and needs replacement. We've got quite a large cap here. And tons of wires going off of that. So it looks like it had multiple, let's see, So I had on, off, and reverse. I'm not sure what reverse is. I'm assuming it's something to do with grounding, possibly. So yeah, quite a lot going on here. So here's the replace 3-prong. You can see they created a ground here. This is a bolt for the output transformer, I believe, and they just grounded it there. This gray wire is I cut it off, but this is a speaker cable. And you can see they're getting the ground off of this tag right here. And you'll also notice there's tons of rivets, and those are all the ground connections that it's relying on for the most part. So, that was very common in these older amps. I've seen in a lot of amps that don't say Fender on it. I know it's a big no-no, especially when modern amp manufacturers do that. But a lot of these old amps still work and function fine. Obviously, it's far from ideal though. But yeah, this one is obviously relying on a ton of rivets everywhere for its ground connections. So cool. Wow. I'm so pleased with how clean it is. That's going to make this a really fun and interesting project, I think. And yeah, man, just beautiful. It's chaos, but it's a beautiful chaos. So, all right, let's go ahead and zoom back out here. And let me go ahead and give you guys a close-up of the switch because it's totally broken and jacked up. And then from there, I think we'll go and see what I got in my inventory and go from there. All right, there's the switch there. I'm holding it with my left hand, so sorry if it's shaky, but yeah, you can see it's completely broken. So she's a goner. I completely forgot, but the owner actually provided me with a new replacement switch for this, and it's got the 6 connections there. So we'll be able to wire it back up how it was from the factory, and then I'm going to take a close look at how it's wired with the with the 3-prong as well as the fuse and everything, and make sure that was all done correctly. But yeah, we've got the part. So I think we're going to go ahead and stop here for part 1, and I'm going to just do a much closer check through everything, and then we'll get the switch installed for part 2 and go from there. But I'm really excited by this project. So if you guys want to see more of this, stay tuned, subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you.